Welcome to bonus footage for Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday. I've done some Unmatched videos today. I did exploration overview of kind of the series and some of my thoughts on it, especially kind of the line of sight, which I find really like that mechanism. And it's got me thinking, how could I adapt that to the war game, to either small unit tactical war game or something of that nature. It just really kind of got my creative juices flowing. But also did an unboxing of Deadpool with this, and thought I would, while I still had all this stuff on the table, I thought, hey, let's go through some of this stuff and show you what I have. I don't have everything in the series. It's an ever expanding series. And there's a lot of, I think, 2 or 3 2-packs that I don't have, and maybe even some more 4-packs. But I thought, hey, let's take a look at some of the stuff that's in here, and so you guys get an idea of what comes with the game. Here's the Volume 1, which was the first in the series. You get all the rule books are generally the same. They're not very long. They're about I don't think they have page numbers here, but they're relatively, as you can see, it's just reduced pages, full color, very easy to follow, and they're laid out very nicely. So let's look at the main thing here is, well, I'll get to the map in a second, but you're going to get characters with each one, little minis. There's your toy factor with this. So there's King Arthur, and it's a nice miniature. I mean, I'm not one that paints. Really bad at painting, but it looks like they have a little bit of a wash on that already. So I mean, it's a nice miniature, and you have the little ring on the bottom that denotes, just it's easy to see it when it's on the board to know which one is your character. Here's Medusa. Oh, I forgot to do King Arthur's going to have Merlin, so there's the token for Merlin that will be on the board as well. Medusa has harpies that go with her, and so they're really nice tokens. They're these little plastic tokens, really nice. So they'll be on the board as well. And when you have these characters that have a main hero and these other heroes, it's you kind of brings in some extra tactics. You can kind of try to surround or box off some avenues and use your minions or your secondary forces for that. There's a Sinbad. So as you can see here, pretty nice little mini there. And Sinbad has the porter that goes with him. Then you've got Alice. And there's the Vorpal blade. And then she's got an extra, she doesn't have, well, she has the Jabberwocky. Of course, you got to have the Jabberwocky, right? There's the Jabberwocky that goes with it. But she also has this kind of token, because it's all about whether she's big or whether she's small, and she gets a bonus attack when she's big, and she gets bonus defense when she's small. She's harder to hit. Really kind of neat how they bring the flavor of the game into that. Each of them are going to have their own. They're going to have their card that talks about what their special ability is, and has the movement for both Alice and the Jabberwocky if they have any allies that they use. They're both melee allies. And then on the back of each one of these has basically, what you can do on your turn, maneuver, scheme, and attack, which is nice. Then they'll have their hit point die. I mean, that's the whole point of this game. If you're playing against Alice, if you reduce her to 0, you win the game. But a lot of times the minions, not all the time, sometimes the minions are just like 1 hit point, but sometimes if they're more hardy allies, then they get their own hit point counter. So here the Jabberwocky starts off with 8. So I mean, you got 8 with the Jabberwocky, and what did you get with 13 with Alice? I mean, that's a pretty formidable crew there. So, that's what you get in here. Like the porter's got hit point dial too. So, as I said here, it's kind of cool. Merlin's probably going to have one as well, as you can see there. So, very nice components. It all fits very nicely in the box. you have to put together these little dials, and they come with these, these brackets that you use there, which, I have a bunch of those from all the different games, and I kind of keep them in the bottom of this box, in a bag in the bottom of the box. I got extra leftover, so if anything ever breaks or anything, I can go to that. The Harpies, I think, are just, they don't have their own dial, because they're just kind of one hit point creature, so you just need to do 1 point of damage, and you're going to knock them out. Very nice inserts. I like the inserts. Everything's laid out. It fits in perfectly. I think I said in a previous video, I'm one that likes to put all my, if I have a main game, I like to put all the components into one box, because it saves me shelf space, because I got a lot of games. Got a lot of shelves too, but I'm running out, right? This is really kind of hard to do, because it'll just be a mess of how you do it. And plus, they have it so nicely laid out. So you end up with all these boxes, and I have to keep them on the shelves. But that's such as life, right? Let's take a look at the map real quick on this one. Move that over there. And this one is dual-sided. So you've got one map here with the river in the middle. It looks like you got a bridge. And the nice thing about these, this is part of that line of sight that I was talking about in the exploration video, which I'll put a link to it down below in this description. You can hit anything that's within the color. So if I'm on green, I can hit anything within green. If I'm on blue, I hit anything within blue. If I'm in this spot, I can hit anything that's within purple, but I can also hit anything within this, like, yellow. If I'm here, I can hit anything within yellow, brown, or purple. So really neat mechanism to simplify line of sight. You don't have to worry about, well, do I got to look over this? Do I have to look over that? Does the tree block you? Does this ridge right here block you? It's all superimposed on the board. It's like pre-populated. I kind of call it pre-populated line of sight, and I really like that mechanism. And it's got me thinking about transporting that over to war games and maybe there is a war game that does that. I'm just not familiar with it. But in each of these you get, except for the latest one, or the volume 2, each of these you get 2 different maps. This one looks like it's more from like the Alice in Wonderland type setting. But you've got your, and then of course you have your paths as well on here. So this is where you can move. So you can't move between here. This is a turret, so you can't move between here and here. You have to go out this way and go down the ladder and the like. This one has like a gate, so you have a rampart here, and then you go underneath the gate, and you can go outside. But you can see here with this elevated position, this can hit brown, it can hit this green, darker green color, and then hit this lighter green color. So that's how these ramparts work, and they can't hit right down below the gate. It's a little bit outside their line of sight. Can't say enough about how cool that is, and maybe I'm just weird. And so this is how the line of sight's going to work for each of these different areas. So that's volume 1. Let's look at volume 2 real quick. I said that this is just kind of a quick extra footage overview. And I kind of looked at these before in that earlier video, but there's no extra dial for the clones for the Monkey King, but we can pull out these so you can get a good view of these minis. And this is Bloody Mary. She's they said that's kind of like an gothic urban myth or something. It's kind of bizarre. Something about saying her name 3 times in the mirror. Here's the Monkey King. Then you have Yeniga. And I think she's based, I don't know the history, but she might be based on like either a legend or maybe the real history, or there might be some basis in fact on her. And here's Achilles. Really cool kind of mini there. And of course Achilles has Patroclus, and consistent with the theming of the legend, when Patroclus dies, Achilles kind of gets infuriated, and he goes up in value. I mean, some of his cards change depending on whether Patroclus is alive or dead, and that changes things a lot as well. So say here, so you got really cool stuff. I don't think there's an extra dial for, there's not one for the archer, so these are basically going to be 1 hit point or potentially 2 hit points. So they're like, looks like they got 2 hit points, and you flip them over, and then when they get hit again, they're done. So, and again, every single one of these has their own unique cards, unique card back, and then do different things. And some of these cards, like here, only the archer could use this, right? And then only Yenica can use these cards. So that makes a difference too, especially when you do have companions or allies or whatnot. The cards might be limited as well, and you're kind of stuck with them in your hand. Like here's an any, so it's different for each of the different heroes that you face. And so, you know, that again, that's another thing I really like about this system is there's a lot of the asymmetrical nature of the different combatants. And so here's a different, we looked at this one in the previous video, but you know, it really, you got a high point here. It looks like kind of maybe a pyramid or some sort. So that really kind of commands the landscape. And then this is something they did different on this one. And I don't know if any of the other sets do this. This is the first set I think I have that does this, but they try to emphasize more of the features and the terrain and the graphics, and then put the line of sight with these like little bands that you can see there. Pull that up. So you get a better view of the board, and then the line of sight features, which are integral to the game, aren't as you know, it's not as prominent, you know, with the colors. You can kind of enjoy the map a little bit better. Plus they added this. I don't know if some of the other versions that I don't have did this, but this is the first time that they have these little bonus modifiers. So if you're attacking from here to here, you get a +1 on your attack. So it's giving you the uphill advantage, you know, the elevated advantage. And so there's some of these different bonuses that are here. Like this is going down and going down, so you're getting an advantage from each one of these different tiers. And so that adds a little bit to the game too, these new kind of bonuses that are there. If you can take a look at that. So that's kind of cool feature. As I said, this is from, as far as it kind of being a somewhat of a, you know, basic game of how it's been done. I mean, it's not necessarily what anybody would call a serious skirmish game or even a war game, heaven forbid, but it's got some interesting features. I like the way that they've superimposed those on the map. Here's the Cobble and Fog one, and this one is, a lot of people consider this one to be one of the better sets. It's very thematic and kind of fits together. Here's, this is Dracula. You got your good old Dracula there. And of course, he's going to have the sisters. There's 3 of them that he has. Really good components there. Component-wise, and this stuff is just, they knock it out of the park. And so, only Dracula has the wheel, the hit point wheel, the life wheel, and so these must be like 1-point type allies. But there's cards that are going to be unique to the sisters, and then there's Annie, then there's Dracula, so it's and there's also a theme within the cards themselves, you know. So Dracula is going to be, you know, there's like beast form and raving seduction and exploit, and you know, there's probably some blood sucking going on here. So you know, there's very thematic within the deck themselves. It's not only asymmetrical, but they're trying to keep true to its theme. Here's Jekyll and Hyde, and of course he's going to flip between, you know, Jekyll and Hyde, kind of like the Alice in Wonderland token. You know, he's going to go back between certain things. Of course, he has a pretty heavy life wheel there. But depending on whether he's Jekyll or Hyde, that might affect some of the cards. Like this is a Dr. Jekyll card. This is a Mr. Hyde card. This is an Any. So, you know, depending on what form he's taken is going to make a difference on, you know, what cards you use. And let's pull out good old Jekyll and Hyde. So he's got like a beaker there, it looks like, for the doctor part, and he's got an axe for the Hyde part. Here's the Invisible Man. This is one of my favorite minis here. I mean, these things come out pretty. This doesn't stick in very good, but it's going to be on the board anyway. But look, there's the Invisible Man, and guess what? He's invisible. You there you can't see him there. I think that's a cool mini, but just who am I? This is Sherlock Holmes, and of course, Sherlock Holmes' ally is going to be, those are these guys' fisticuffs up there. It's almost like the Robert Downey Sherlock Holmes. He's going to have Dr. Watson. So with and Dr. Watts, I imagine, has his own will. Yeah, there he is, got his own life will. And of course, they're going to have cards that, you know, affect either Holmes or Watson or any that are there. So again, the 221B on the back there. Again, just dripping with theme. All this dripping with theme. Oh, one thing about the Invisible Man, he's got these fog tokens, and he can kind of move. You put these on the board, and he kind of moves from one to the other because he's invisible, right? I mean, he can move a little bit easier and unseen and undetected, and so those go on the board. And there's a whole strategy around maneuvering him on the board from one of those to the next. And you know, it's kind of hard to find him or see him or catch him in those regards, or he can kind of do like a sneak attack, which is what you expect from an Invisible Man, right? And here is the board for, let's flip it around this way here. This is the board for Cobble and Fog. And again, you got your line of sight, but you got kind of an indoors thing here. This is kind of cool how, you know, you've got inside, outside. You can shoot through this like door or window here to get to here. But you've got inside. This is all outside. And you've got a top of the staircase, so it can attack to those three areas. Really, really cool and thematic. This one also has this feature of I don't know if these are secret doors or keys. I think these might be secret passages. I got to look back that up, but this might have, I think, secret passages. That passage, which is, you know, keeping with, I guess, Victorian London and the time period. Here, this is kind of cool. You got kind of a top-down view of a city block. This kind of really gets with the Sherlock Holmes and Jekyll and Hyde and the like here. Of how that works out. Anyway, very, very nice. I've never played that board. That's weird. I've only played the other one. Then you've got some 2-packs. I think there's several of these 2-packs. I only have this one. And I think there's one for, I don't know all the ones they have for it, but I know there's one for like the Jurassic Park dinosaurs or the raptors. So this is Robin Hood and Bigfoot. This one has a smaller map in it, folds out like this, but it's got 2 sides to it. So you've got kind of the woods here and the like, and then you've got kind of a more open area here with a rocky outcropping, but very nice. I mean, there's a lot of variety to these boards, and they play very differently, and how you want to try to wall people off or block people off, or try to get, if you have a ranged person, you're looking for these areas that can command the area, so to speak. But you got Robin Hood. There's the mini for Robin Hood there. Really cool. And of course, he's going to have his merry men or the outlaws, which are very well done. I think he's got 4 of them, so he's got like the most of any of the secondary tokens. Then and they're all 1 hit point people because they don't have a dial. But there's Robin Hood, and of course he's got ranged, but his outlaws are melee. So, and you got some of their cards are only for the outlaws, some for any, and then some for Robin Hood. So again, a lot of variety here. One thing I didn't say in my earlier review, this number here is kind of a boost number that you can use to play that. You can discard one of these cards to like make your move. You can move more with it, and then other cards play off that number. Sometimes there are cards that use that number to do more, or to do to have an extra ability. And this is one of the coolest of the minis. You got a huge Bigfoot there. Look at that. He's got half a tree. My son loves playing with this guy. We actually played this set, Robin Hood versus Bigfoot, and I think he won, which you would think I'd have the advantage with ranged and with all the outlaws to trying to box Bigfoot in, and I could shoot from afar. But man, once Bigfoot gets on you, and he's got I think it's the jackalope. Yeah, he's got the jackalope. It's his, like he needs a help, right? But he was able to kind of keep me back with the jackalope, and then Bigfoot hits big. That's his thing. Plus he moves 3. So, and the jackalope will move through too. So they're moving all over the board, and then they've got some pretty big hitters that they have in there from time to time. So anyway, very cool with the with that. And then the last 2 I have, I just did an unboxing on Deadpool, but I have these mini one-offs, and they don't have a map with them. But you have Bruce Lee. He's got his dial. Of course, he doesn't need any help. He's Bruce Lee. He's got really kind of a cool base there, but he's Bruce Lee, so he doesn't need any help or any introduction there. And he's actually, you would think he's melee, so he's got move 3, which is great. He's got to be right next to somebody, but you would think that would be hard to fight somebody who's range. Man, when he gets in on you, and he's got like this combo effect, which is very thematic with, somebody who's a fighter. And if you played any video games or fighting video games, I mean, it's all about combos. And he's got these cards that just stack up and pull back and does these combos that just really, can do some major damage. So if he gets in on you, he can take you apart. Plus, he's got a lot of these dual use cards that can be attack or defense. So really interesting fighter. And this is the kind of game where, playing a character one time is probably, you might get lucky, but it really takes multiple plays of each character to really figure out, oh, that's how that person works. But then you match them up against somebody new, and then, heck, I mean, it might not work. You might have to try some different strategies. So a lot of replayability, a lot of strategy or tactics that are used in this game. Here's Deadpool. And, of course, he's got his dial. He's by himself as well. So, I mean, begging to do a combat between these two. I mean, these two sets are just, be interesting how that works out. I just did the unboxing of Deadpool, so I really don't know how his cards work out. But the one thing unique about his cards is they're very, like they give you the feel of his humor, and that, it's kind of off the wall, and he made up his own cards, and, it's really kind of crazy. He's got to have some kind of healing powers or regeneration powers or something, because I mean, he only has like, I think like 10 hit points or something like that, or he starts off with 10. So he's got to have some pretty amazing cards that let him get life back or do some pretty cool stuff. So if you can get through all that stuff. So really looking forward to getting him to the table and seeing what happens there. But anyway, so I thought I'd give you just a quick overview of some of the what you get in the Unmatched. This is bonus footage material for Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday. If you have hung around this long, thank you for spending some time with me. As always, greatly appreciate it. Your time is valuable, and any time you spend with me or looking at this stuff is always going to be appreciated. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching.